we scream? What are we screaming for on today's Bella and Wine? Stay with us. I don't know about how you feel, but I think it's super, super hot in KL these days. Even though it rains in the afternoons, I think it's humid, I think it's really hot, and I think it's time all of us indulge in some ice cream. That's what we're screaming for on today's Bella and Wine. We're talking about ice cream, and if you think that you're going to be putting on the calories, you're going to be putting on weight because you're eating too much of this wonderful thing called ice cream, there is a healthier version which we are going to make today on Bella and Wine. So do stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. This is what we have for you today. Everyone and anyone who loves ice cream has his or her favorite flavor. Great summertime treat, best dessert year-round, and goes good with cupcakes, cakes, pies, cookies. A very yummy sweet treat. Also, we're going to be talking a little bit about our furry friends. Since there are a lot of stray cats and dogs out there, we want to make sure that they are well taken care of. How? Let's stay tuned. So yes, we are going to have a great show today. We're going to be talking about ice cream, making healthier versions for ice cream, and a localized version of ice cream. I think we're going to be making ice cream bandung. I'm very excited. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you out there, you know, would want to know how to do it, do a DIY ice cream at home. So this is the show for you to watch in the next 1 hour. But before that, we're also going to be talking about something very important, especially in our community. I mean, in most Asian countries, we always see a lot of stray dogs and cats roaming around the streets, not so much in the West. And why is this happening, and how can we do something about it so, you know, they don't just procreate as and when they want, and for people to treat them badly and abandon them? This is the show for you to watch as well. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Bella Unwind. Now, as we mentioned earlier, there are a lot of stray dogs and cats out there on the streets, and you know, sometimes some of you may think they're a nuisance, and sometimes, you know, they would go into your garbage cans and pick up, you know, untoward things and jump into your houses and all that kind of stuff. But you know, we can actually do something about it, and we have two very lovely ladies as well as a beautiful feline here. To talk to us about what we can do about, you know, this particular issue that's happening in KL. So we'd like to say a very good morning to Jean Liu, who is a core member of TNRM. Yeah, and we've got Genevieve West, who is an adopting mother and owner of Kuro, and that's Kuro. Hi, Kuro. Hi, welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Before we talk about what's happening in the city, what is TNRM all about?
Okay, so basically TNRM stands for Trap, Neuter, Release, Manage Malaysia. So in a nutshell, Trap stands for, we literally go out there and work with feeders, and we trap stray cats and dogs, and then we get them neutered, then we release them back to where they were found. And this is all in order to manage the stray population in a humane, effective and efficient way. But manage also has also a second meaning, whereby we actually have community feeders who will manage that pack of strays. So if anything happens to them, they can, you know, watch out for them. And
that's pretty cool. Yeah. So in a particular area, you have someone to just monitor them?
Yeah, because usually the strays that we trap are fed by feeders. You know, like in your neighborhood, you see stray cats, you feel bad for them, you start feeding them. But, you know,
or the local coffee shops and restaurants and mamas or whatnot.
Yeah, and even like car workshops and all that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you feed them without neutering, you're actually contributing to the stray problem because you're making them healthier and all that. So you have to neuter the strays if you are feeding them.
Right.
Yeah.
And Genevieve, you're part of this movement as well?
No, I've just helped out by adopting a couple of cats.
Ah, okay. So you're the adopting mother.
Yes, the adopting mother.
Okay. No, it's in your second year, I believe. This organization.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
And
yeah.
why did you begin it in the first place? Whose idea or initiative was it?
Actually, the original founders of TNRM are these two guys called Stuart and Stewie. And we actually still work together now. But they were doing it a little bit more unofficially before, just on their own and everything. And then when I came in the picture, I was actually a feeder, and I wanted to get, you know, the pack I was feeding neutered. And then, you know, long story short, I met them, and somehow we just clicked. And, you know, this is always something I want to do to help. So, yeah, I joined the team, and then we actually got officially registered when I joined, because I'm more of an admin. I can do more of the admin stuff.
Yes.
So we got registered with ROS, Registrar of Societies. So we're official, and that's how it all started. But they founded this idea. Yeah.
So what you do is you go out there, you look for the strays, and you take them in and you neuter them. Now, neutering, for those of you who don't know, it's spaying, as in you...
It's sterilizing them.
Sterilize so that they don't procreate anymore.
Yes.
It's not about being cruel, but you know, it's a lot of them say, oh, so so cruel. You're neutering them, you're spaying them, you're not giving them a chance to procreate, but you're actually helping them in a lot of ways. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes. You know, the whole cruelty factor. Yes, a lot of people think, oh, you know, is it cruel and all that. But if you think about it, it's actually what we do is literally catch them. Yes, they don't really know what's going on. They might be stressed, but only for the span of a week in total.
Yeah,
so
I just had my dogs neutered, and they're fine now.
Because they go under...
They don't pee around the house anymore.
Yeah, and no, they go under general anesthetic. Okay, so we have to fast them 24 hours before that. 12 hours.
Yes.
And then they go through a surgery just like us. When we go through surgery, we don't know what's going on. We you know, we're under GA. And then when they wake up, they are given painkillers, you know, antibiotics, everything. So they're in minimal pain. But before we release them, we do keep them for post-op recovery. So cage rest, basically. 3 days for males and females, for male dogs and cats, and 7 days for females.
Okay.
So after that, we release them back, and then they go back to doing what they were doing before. If you're gonna talk about cruelty, if you let them be, you know, for example...
Can you imagine the kittens or the puppies which are born?
Exactly. Right? The kittens, puppies that are born that suffer on the streets, but not just that. The female, when she goes on heat, if, like, example, a female dog, she will be, you know, harassed 24/7 for like the span of 2 weeks when she's on heat.
Yes.
You know, and the dogs get aggressive, and that is more cruel. And she goes through this her whole life for like 2-3 times a year, you know, and and her offspring, of course, suffer as well.
Of course. Yeah. So it's a great thing that you guys are doing. Now, Genevieve, tell us about your story with Kuro.
Well, Jean contacted us and told us about a shelter that was being demolished in a couple of days.
Okay.
And there were 7 kittens there that badly needed homes. So we decided to take 2 of them, and we asked Jean which 2 were the least likely to be adopted. And Kuro was the least likely, wasn't he?
He was.
He was.
Why is that?
He was tiny. He was a little runt. He didn't have any fur.
I think we've got a picture of Kuro before. He looks as handsome as he does now. There we have it.
He had a fungus all over his
skin.
Dear. He had...
he was not a well kitten.
He had worms. He was not well at all, and Jean was worried he wasn't even going to survive. But he's a little fighter. We took him and bathed him and gave him his medication, and now
there he is, a live television.
Look at him now.
So that's what happens. And do you rehome all this?
That was what I was gonna say. Actually, the R in our TNRM also stands for rehome. So we release feral animals.
Is he purring? He's scared.
He's a little nervous. This is a TV appearance.
A bit camera shy. Okay.
So R also stands for rehome. So for the animals that we catch that are really friendly or really adoptable, especially young ones like puppies and kittens, definitely we don't release them back. We know.
They wouldn't know how to survive.
Exactly. And I mean, of course, anything under 7 months, you can't spay anyway, but we don't label ourselves as rescuers. I mean, we're not really a rescue group. We focus on neutering. But having said that, you know, if they come across our path, we don't turn away, you know. So
do you have like a list of people or a list of adopting
mothers or fathers who you know, who put themselves out there and say, you know, contact us if you've got any.
Well, the thing is, I think there were people like that, and there still are, but then the thing is, if you do that, you're going to turn into a shelter and you become a hoarder. Okay. So that's the thing. That's the thing about doing this. Even, you know, when I started doing it, I was like, okay, this animal, okay, I'm going to keep this one, I'm going to keep this one. But I realized that if you do that, it's not sustainable. You're going to run out of space, you're going to run out of funds, and it's not an efficient use of the money. It's just, we just become another shelter. Okay. So we don't do that. And a lot of people who do that, they get labeled as hoarders. So, and the animals don't live a nice life when they're all in a confined space with like 200 animals in one space, or they live in cages. Yeah. So,
I mean, speaking about, you know, putting animals, I mean, dogs and cats in one space, there was a case of these taboo puppies, right? The Jalan Taboo. What's that all about?
Oh, that was basically just a friend of mine who lives in that area in Jalan Taboo. Saw a dog, a mother dog, who had like a big wound in her vaginal area, and it had maggots. So he actually called us in to try to get her to, you know, treat her and also spay her eventually, because he said this dog has been running around his neighborhood for a while, and he's seen her litter many puppies. So, but she is so feral and very hard to catch, and she's only there in this abandoned house at night. So we actually decided, okay, we're gonna come and try to help this dog. We got to the abandoned house. It's literally like a haunted house, quite scary. The only way in was through a rubbish chute, so we all crawled in. And when we got in, we found he told us that he saw her with 5 puppies. When we got in, we saw 4 alive and a carcass of a puppy. Oh no. And it actually looked like it was cannibalism, because they were just out of desperation, so hungry.
They had no food,
yeah, of course. And I think the mother and the puppies started eating their own.
So what happened to them after?
So what we did was we managed to catch the puppies. So we caught all of them. They were really timid. They were quite aggressive for a little 2 months. Very traumatized. And they hadn't had much human exposure. But when we got them, you know, brought them to our transit center, got them a little bit rehabilitated, and then we finally got them home, not long after.
And what happened to the mom?
The mom, we actually tried to go back a few other times, and she had just disappeared, and yeah, we didn't get to get her. We followed her all that night, and she ran into somewhere we can't get to, and then we tried again and again, and we couldn't get her, so...
Good on you, savior of the pets. At least we know that there are people out there doing this. Now, talking about what you're doing, I mean, it must not be very easy, and I understand that you're raising funds, and you've got a particular event. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, basically on Sunday, 19th of April, we're having a fundraiser. We call it, the theme is Stray Fit. So it's a collaboration between animal lovers and fitness, you know, enthusiasts, and it's going to be held in District 13, which is Malaysia's first CrossFit warehouse gym. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's literally in a warehouse, and they do CrossFit there. So the owners of the gym, Matt Chong and ID, they actually very kindly, you know, sponsored the venue to us. So they said, we give you the space, you can do whatever you want. So we actually got in about 15 vendors. So they're going to be having stalls, they're gonna selling different merchandise, and then we're actually
because I mean, neutering actually costs money.
Oh yes,
I mean,
it does.
I think it's about what, $200 per animal.
Yeah, well, private clinics can charge up to that.
Yeah, that's what I paid for my 2 dogs each.
Yeah, but we do send it to our panel clinic, who actually helps strays, and we get it a little bit cheaper, but it's still pricey.
Yes, and that's why money is needed.
Yes.
Comprende.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
So how else would people know about this event?
We have a Facebook page for this event, it's just called Stray Fit. So if you just search Stray Fit, like STRAYFIT, events page, hi girl. You'll be able to find everything you want to know about the event, but of course you also can follow us on our Facebook page, TNRM Malaysia, and our Instagram, TNRM Malaysia.
One more question to Genevieve. I mean, are there any tips out there for those who want to adopt strays? Any tips of caring for them, taking care of them, or things you look out for?
Well, certainly you take them for a health check, which quite often Jean and the team have done already.
Okay.
And they settle in. They seem to sense that they're now in a safe place, and they really settle in quickly. And particularly with cats, I don't have the experience with the dogs. They teach themselves how to use the litter tray. They can
Lucky you.
There's really just no effort at all. All they provide is a lot of love and fun.
What about their mental and emotional care? I mean, you know, more often than not, these strays are a little bit traumatized, or they don't know how to deal with humans very well, as Jean mentioned. What about Kuro and how he adapted to you?
Well, Kuro was young enough to just be a baby and be looked after. But I think if you adopt an older cat, you just take a little bit more time to gain their trust. But
just love, shower them with love.
Exactly.
Lots and lots of love.
Love
right?
and food.
love and food. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, ladies, for coming out and sharing all this with us. And it's good to know that there are people like you out there doing something for our strays in the city. Hopefully we'll see a lot lesser of them, and you know, a cleaner city, and you know, happier animals roaming around, right? Thank you very much, and have a great event.
Thank you so much for having us.
We're going to go for a very short break, and when we come back, this is what we have for you on Bella Unwind.
Everyone and anyone who loves ice cream has his or her favorite flavor. And it goes with lots of stuff: cupcakes, cakes, pies, cookies. We'll learn more how to make ice cream and what the healthy options of ice cream after this.
Chocolate.
Durian flavor. There's this ice cream shop near my house, and like they sell really nice like durian flavored ice cream.
Vanilla. I'm a chocolate person. Chocolate all the way. No matter what, chocolate.